This is how we cracked the dunk meter on NBA 2K27. On NBA 2K, I'm normally a slasher, CEO of Slasher Gang. So when Mike Wang announced the logic-driven dunk meter for NBA 2K27, the ultimate goal was to figure the logic out behind this meter as quickly as possible. So when Lakerfan came to me with his idea of cracking the dunk meter, I was all in. We'll test out somebody with a high driving dunk, like a Ja Morant or an Anthony Edwards, versus somebody with low interior defense. That could be another guard or a mid-center. We'll also test out high driving dunk versus that mid-range area of defense and see how they can affect the meter. And then we'll test out high driving dunk versus high interior defense, going against somebody like Rudy Gobert or Donovan Clingan. Of course, we'll also show you takeovers and how that turned out. Trust me when I say this, you do not want to miss the takeover part. It got pretty scary, bro. Before we get into it, be sure to drop a like for more NBA 2K27 Community Day footage. Shout out to 2K for inviting me once again. It's always a blessing. Let's go ahead and get into the dunk meter test ran by me and my boy Lakerfan. Everything you see from here on out is on NBA 2K27. Keep in mind, it's a work in progress, and we're playing on Superstar difficulty because that's kind of similar to what you play on online, especially if you play the rec. Our first test is to figure out what does a dunk meter look like when somebody doesn't have interior defense. We decided to land on Ant versus Ja Morant because they're both guards, and NBA 2K does have position-based matchmaking in my career, so we can see this is kind of what it looks like online. High driving dunk versus low interior defense or low block was pretty promising in my opinion. You can see right off the rip, Ant Edwards going at somebody like Ja Morant, it's pretty much an automatic dunk. And it's vice versa too. Ja Morant and Ant Edwards couldn't do anything with each other when we were driving to the rim. Not only that, but this is a dynamic dunk meter, and it was cool to see that the exact opposite of what would happen on NBA 2K26 happens. On NBA 2K26, your meter will most likely shrink, but on NBA 2K27, your meter will actually extend. And once again, this is really consistent on Superstar difficulty where you have a player with high driving dunk going against a player with low interior defense or low block. And you can see in the top right, this is Hall of Fame posterizer firing off. So I would still be cautious, right? Because if you want Hall of Fame posterizer on your build, it's going to be really expensive. But it's good to see Hall of Fame posterizer is completely obliterating people that it should obliterate. Keep in mind, we were actually trying to stop each other. We were trying different positions. We were standing in the dead zone, around the restriction circle, to the left, to the right. We tried to wall up, we tried to jump, and the green window was still pretty consistent, and these animations and catching bodies were still consistent versus people that shouldn't stop it. So that was very cool to see, and I'm hoping it stays like this when NBA 2K27 comes out. The next test is high driving dunk versus mid-tier defense. I don't mean mid-defense, but their defense is better than Ja Morant or Anthony Edwards, but they're also not a Jared Allen or a Rudy Gobert. This test was pretty interesting. When the driving dunk and defense are kind of equal, it becomes more so where you're positioned on the court and your stick skills. So there are times where I would drive in with LeBron and my dunk would be changed to a layup. On the other end, Zion has Hall of Fame posterizer, but LeBron still has good defensive stats on here. And so Zion was able to get off more dunks, but if you position yourself correctly, you will still be able to get a few stops. But since he has Hall of Fame posterizer, Zion was able to dunk the ball every once in a while. Now, I really like this test in particular because it shows, okay, interior defense and block actually means something, but positioning also means something. So you can see in this clip, Zion was caught in the dead zone, and I was able to score at will. The green window extended, and it was a free dunk since we do have gold posterizer. Once again, LeBron James backs up into the dead zone, it becomes really easy. So you always want to position yourself in the right area of the court to have a better chance at stopping somebody with gold posterizer, especially if you have solid defensive stats. The next test is high driving dunk versus high interior defense and high blocking. I'm talking about we're going to have Hall of Fame posterizer going against Hall of Fame paint protector. This was honestly relieving to see because we've been dunking a lot in this test. If you're a center with high defensive stats, high interior, high block, high strength, you shouldn't be getting dunked on that much by Hall of Fame posterizer, especially if you position yourself really well, meet them at the restriction circle, jump at them, and you should be able to block their dunk or bring them out of a dunk animation. This was pretty consistent across the board. The only way somebody with a high driving dunk can dunk on somebody with high interior is with takeover. Now go ahead and strap in because the takeover is about to get crazy. In this video, we are testing out airspace takeover. So in previous 2Ks, takeover has been weird because sometimes it doesn't even feel worth using, and that makes people use the same takeovers. For example, on NBA 2K26, all you will see is Deep Bomber. In the earlier seasons, Blur. And they use those because when you activate them, it felt like you were really unstoppable. And that's what takeover should be. So with airspace in NBA 2K27, you are unstoppable. If you don't know what airspace is, it's the takeover that helps you complete driving dunks. It reminds me of Blur in the earlier seasons of NBA 2K26, but way better. I'm talking about way better. If you get to the rack with airspace, with takeover, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter what your stats are. If that contact dunk activates, the entire meter will be green. And I'm not saying this because I'm biased. You know, I'm slasher game, so I like dunking. But takeover is different this year. So if you let somebody get dunking takeover, that means you were already letting them dunk the entire game. You might as well let them get the takeover off. But I will say takeover is powerful in NBA 2K27. And if you're a slasher, the takeover is something you should definitely look forward to. I would say the dunk meter in general, from what we played, once again, we were on Superstar and the logic made sense right now. Now, once again, it's subject to change. I can see a lot of people complaining about the rim running. You all know how it goes. But to me and Lakerfan, everything just made sense. High driving dunk versus low interior, you're going to body people. Mid-tier driving dunk versus mid-tier defender, it really comes down to your stick skills, positioning a lot more. You may get the dunk, you may get forced into a layup. That's just the way it goes. But if you have high driving dunk and your opponent has high defensive stats, they're most likely going to stop you, especially if they position themselves well. But the green window will be makeable, so it's really up to you most of the time. And of course, if you have takeover, it's time to dominate. So in the comments below, let me know what you think of the dunk meter in NBA 2K27. Personally, we had a great time with it, and I'm looking forward to using it a lot more. You all be easy and take care. Peace.